We're back with our talk round on Inside Tennessee after our conversation with Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. All right, the budget's out there. Susan, what do you think his biggest challenge is over the next 12 months?
It's certainly going to be the debt. There's no question about that. I mean, he inherited a lot of this, and the schools obviously has added to it tremendously because they built several new schools under his watch and under Ragsdale and the previous mayor.
Well, the school debt service has always been there, but now it's reflected in the overall
budget. And so that is certainly going to be a challenge for them. I mean, I think taxpayers are happy, obviously, because they haven't had a property tax increase under him or in the last 25 years. But certainly Chris Caldwell and the mayor are going to have to do a lot of sitting down talking in the next year over how we handle the debt service.
Don, we asked the mayor right off the top, could the county live for another 25 years without raising property taxes? He was less upfront and sort of putting his foot down about that issue than I've seen him before. I don't think, he doesn't sound like he's ready to raise taxes, but certainly the ground is starting to shift when it comes to that conversation.
It is, and here's the reality, and he pointed it out in another way. The only way we grow our tax base, primarily in Knox County, is through property tax, and that's through growth, and that's through businesses, and that's through building. And we are starting to run out of usable space. We have lots of space, but a lot of it is not conducive to building. He mentioned that. We're not going to be able to bring in another, it's going to be tough to bring in another 400-acre business park, things like that in the county. So at some point, when you can't grow from a property tax perspective, the only thing you have left there is, are you going to increase sales tax? Well, that's tough on just that little 2 point. Yeah, can't do it. And so what you have left is property tax increase. And I do think we'll see it.
And John, showing the ballooning debt, the mayor acknowledged it, but reluctant to blame former Mayor Ragsdale for making those deals when he did.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I mean, sometimes you can't forecast when you're making these kinds of decisions when it's going to hit and such as that. And he's not, and neither is people, willing to blame predecessors. It was a big deal while Tim Burchett was in office when I used to go talk to him about his budgets, and that's been 10 years ago. He's like, I want to get rid of some of this debt. I want to get rid of some of this debt. It's not like, and I don't think people should get the idea that, oh my goodness, suddenly Knox County can't pay its bonded debt.
We're looking at 9 or 10% of our total budget on debt service.
It's not anything to worry about. And furthermore, they're going to issue more bonds because they've got more projects that have to be built with the school system. It's got to be done. The question is, demand for services are going to reach a point where you have suddenly more people requiring more roads that need to be built. That's where you're like, how are we going to pay for this?
Yeah, and this isn't really about, you hear people complain, oh gosh, we don't need another park, or why are we doing a greenway? Those are fractional pennies on what we're talking about. We need infrastructure, we need law enforcement, we need sewers, we need things that are essential services, and apparently somebody's trying to disagree. Yeah, but if we don't have those, that's where government fails. We're not talking about the bells and whistles. We're talking about the hardcore things citizens need to cope and survive.
And Susan, to your question about could we see deputies paid more, the mayor's saying, I'd like to pay them more, but if they get more, so will everyone else. So that's going to be a chunk.
I totally get where he's coming from on that. They're only getting his overall employees are getting a 2% raise, which isn't much in times of inflation.
It really isn't.
And high gas prices and high food prices. And so I get where he's coming from that. And the sheriff did make a promise last year. But what's happened is Mayor Kincannon rolled out a huge increase.
Just like Glenn Jacobs did the year before.
Right. And so they obviously hire from each other. And so
not as much as you think.
Do they go because
I don't think it's as much.
Not as much as you think.
I really don't think it's as much.
Increase in salary?
They poach more from out of county.
Yeah, we're more at risk of losing our local officers to other departments outside of Knox County or private industry like out at Oak Ridge and Y12 than we are to each other. There are a few, but it is very few that move back and forth.
Okay, what did you make of the mayor's answer that we'll learn from him in early 2025 if he plans to run for governor?
Well, let me say I would be shocked if he doesn't announce in early 2025 that he's running for governor. The mayor has been seen across Tennessee making speeches at Paris Fish Fry, at the Davidson County Lincoln Day dinner, at all kinds of different county Lincoln Day dinners and Trump dinners and so forth. And generally, unless you're running for something statewide, you're not going to waste your time going to Paris, Tennessee.
We're going to leave it there for now. Don Bosch will remain silent for the remainder.
Not possible. Not possible.
We hope to see you next week on Inside Tennessee. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend.